This video is on how to loosen up the steering shaft for an outboard motor. Any outboard motor that has a sticking shaft, this one's freed up now so it's really easy, but any that have a sticking pivot shaft here, this video may help you. So basically it's just like a motorcycle fork really. There's this center housing that mounts to the boat through the transom mount and it stays stationary, and then there's this center shaft that's connected to the tiller handle, and when you turn this shaft turns inside of it. This shaft turns inside of this housing. Now there are plastic bushings between the shaft and the housing, and those bushings are designed to wear over time, I suppose, and cushion, also to prevent corrosion between these two surfaces. But you want to make sure that they stay lubed and have the tension, any friction there, you want it to be intentionally set by this friction adjustment spot right here. It's a little nut that you tighten that nut and it grips onto this little bar more and more and reduces the friction. You know, an outboard motor, the amount of friction you do want some, so if the handle ever slipped out of your hand, it's not going to flip to the side. But you don't want so much friction that you're really working hard to turn it, and you don't want to stress the transom. You've got like a lightweight little boat. If that friction is really high, then it'll, you know, I suppose you could weaken the transom over time. So what I did was, and this was almost seized when I bought this motor. So I took this componentry off of this outboard right here. It needed to be released. A couple of nuts for holding this bracket on, and then a couple of nuts on each of the shock mounts, and then a nut up here on the shock mount, and then the whole thing comes away. It's got a couple of connections to do with throttle linkage and shift linkage and stuff like that you may have to deal with. And in fact, I already had the lower unit off of this one, so anything that like a shift shaft was already disconnected. So once I got it off in the bench, start disassembling it. In this case, once you take it off, it should just slide out of here. I don't know why Honda didn't, but they did not put a grease fitting in here, and I think they should have. But anyway, I greased it really well and reassembled it, and now it's really easy to turn. So what you do, slide it out, clean all of the bushings, like the inside of the bushing, clean any corrosion from this shaft, any dirt, lube, all of that, put it all back together. I actually, this motor had been painted, and some paint had somehow gotten in there and dripped down and caused the interface between this shaft and the bushings to be seized. So I actually had to use a round file and file out some of that paint, and once I did that, this worked like new again. So that's the advice I can give you. A lot of engines have a grease fitting there. This one doesn't, and they really should. It's highly recommended a grease fitting there.